You know, if these trademarks mean anything for the Nintendo Switch Online service, it makes me wonder if Nintendo is gonna, one, add Metroid Prime Corruption to the Nintendo Switch Online service for the GameCube. I actually don't remember if they added it to that list that they showed off during the trailer. Let me know in the comment section if they did or not. But two, is Nintendo gonna add Nintendo DS games to the service as well? I've always thought that Metroid Prime Hunters would be really cool to see ever since we learned about the mouse functions for the Nintendo Switch 2. Which, by the way, what games do you want to be added or systems to the Nintendo Switch Online service? I'm really hoping for Mario Paint personally. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the Robo Show, where we cover the latest news, leaks, and rumors from Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. If you want to be kept up on the latest gaming news, make sure you click that red subscribe button below and have that notification bell on. And if you're interested, I have a Patreon, which link to that will be in the pinned comment along with my Twitter account. In this video, we are going to talk about some new Nintendo Switch news that has recently dropped, why it's pretty big or potentially can be big for the Nintendo Switch 2 going forward, and also some past things that have popped up that do have to do with games like Metroid Prime Hunters and Metroid Prime 2. There's also some news about Gamescom 2025 when it comes to the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo themselves, because remember, they didn't go in 2023 and they're going in 2025. So what does Nintendo have up their sleeve? Maybe something for the Nintendo Switch Online service. If you guys end up enjoying this video, leave a like, it helps the video out a lot, and if you want to follow me on Twitter and help us pass our goal of 1,000 followers, you can follow us at RoboRob93. Without further delay, let's continue to the video. So the Nintendo Switch Online service has been growing, and I feel like right now in its current state, it's really fantastic. We have Game Boy Advance on the Nintendo Switch Online service, Super Nintendo, we also have some great Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy games, and a lot more. The service has definitely come a long way compared to when it was just bare bones when it launched in the beginning. I mean, I remember at the launch of the Nintendo Switch Online service and how I personally felt what it looked like at launch, and I thought it was just bare bones. Maybe people liked it at the beginning. Personally, me, I didn't like it, but I knew eventually it was gonna get there. And of course, the thing I'm really excited for, GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch 2, with new GameCube games being added on June 5th. Games like The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, which I have been waiting for so long to be added to the Nintendo Switch Online service, and I just can't wait to get my hands on the Switch 2 and play that. Though I do hope they still do bring The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD for the Nintendo Switch, and of course The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD. I mean, they have been on record saying that The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD is still on the table despite it being on the GameCube Nintendo Switch Online service. So there is still hope. And with all of these new Nintendo Switch features and new Nintendo Switch games being added to the Nintendo Switch Online service, one system that I and even some of you guys down in the comment section have said that you would just love to be added is the Nintendo DS to the Nintendo Switch Online service, and of course Nintendo 3DS games as well. But we're focusing more so on the Nintendo DS side of things because the Nintendo DS trademark is what's been renewed. And even when it comes to like 3DS games, Kid Icarus Uprising would be really cool, or even A Link Between Worlds. And while I don't think 3DS will come yet anyways, we may be getting some Nintendo DS games in the future if these trademarks are anything to do with that. This is what Go Nintendo has to say. When it comes to the Metroid franchise, Nintendo fans are squarely focused on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is coming to the Switch and the Switch 2 later this year. While Nintendo no doubt has big plans to push that title, it seems like they're looking at Samus's past as well. And by the way, Metroid Prime 4 is a 2025 game, so we should be seeing some of that very, very soon. I'm actually wondering if Nintendo's gonna show it off at Gamescom 2025 since they're going there. Nintendo is always making sure to protect the franchise and the franchise installments, and that's exactly what they're doing with the Metroid series right now. It's been discovered that Nintendo has snagged a trademark renewal for two classic installments in Samus's history, Metroid Prime 3 Corruption and Metroid Prime Hunters. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is that trademark renewals do often happen, resulting in games releasing on whatever trademark ends up happening. So this next part of the article is a big warning for people to not put 100% stock into what they're saying. Keep your expectations low is what I'm trying to get at. Go Nintendo says, while these new renewals might cause excitement for some, it's important to note that this kind of housekeeping for Nintendo is standard. It doesn't necessarily point to something new happening with these titles, so don't get your hopes up for re-releases or remakes. So just keep that in mind, guys. With that being said, let's ignore those warnings and talk about what could potentially happen here. Why do we do this to ourselves? Now, the interesting thing about Metroid Prime 3 specifically is last we heard Nintendo actually had these games set for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, that is a rumor, of course. Keep that in mind. And we also heard multiple times from Jeff Grubb in different ways that these games do exist. Nintendo's just holding on to it. Take a look at this article right here. Jeff Grubb says he heard a big Metroid marketing campaign set for May, and this was in February 16th, 2024. According to Jeff Grubb, there was supposed to be a big marketing push for Metroid Prime 2 rather than Metroid Prime 4. This article from 2023 as well, Jeff Grubb reiterates that Metroid Prime 2 and 3 are Switch bound, and there are other Nintendo insiders that have said things like that. It's been going on for quite some time, same with a lot of different games. And if there's anything I've learned about covering Nintendo Switch leaks and rumors and stuff, is when something pops up over and over and over and over again, typically there is some hint of truth there. This happened with like the 4K stuff and the DLSS stuff and the Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. Not only that, but the new versions of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. If you guys remember, there were some findings on that before we even knew about that, as well as it being shown behind doors, which I believe was Gamescom too, actually. So what might be happening when it comes to at least Metroid Prime 3 with this new information about the trademark renewal is that Nintendo is holding on to these games, and these games are ready, both Metroid Prime 2 and 3, and the trademark renewal for Metroid Prime 3 is just the latest evidence. I do find it very interesting that Metroid Prime Hunters is on there, but now we know that the Nintendo Switch 2 does have the mouse function. I do wonder if that's one of the reasons why they're renewing this DS game. Now, there are a couple key points in this theory. One, I think Nintendo wants to get the Nintendo Switch out. They wanted to get it to players and have it in their hands and set up a whole thing for the next generation of the Nintendo Switch 2. We also know that the Metroid Prime 4 game is going to be, I don't know why I said it like that, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be in 2025. Nintendo is also going to Gamescom in 2025. That news has recently dropped. The last time they went to Gamescom was 2023, so they didn't go in 2024, skipping it probably to save games up for the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal, I would assume. So what if Nintendo ends up announcing Metroid Prime 2 and 3 at Gamescom potentially, or maybe just 3, depending on what they want to do. Now, as far as Metroid Prime from the Nintendo DS, we know that Nintendo will be adding GameCube games to the Nintendo Switch Online service, and that's another thing why they could have been adding Metroid Prime 3 and renewing this trademark, is because they're going to eventually add it to the Nintendo Switch Online service. But on the Nintendo DS side, maybe that's what Nintendo's going to do. Now, the Nintendo Switch Online service just got GameCube games, so they definitely aren't going to announce that just yet if they do have that plan. Game Boy Advance was the last system added, and that was in February of 2023. Remember that. Before that was Super Nintendo, and that was in 2019. So it's going to be a while. It seems like Nintendo likes to wait at least a year between new consoles being added to the Switch Online service. So I'd say the wait for Nintendo DS games is going to be at least a year, maybe 2026, if they do add them there anyways. So what then? Well, the second option is of course a port for Metroid Prime Hunters, which I think would be pretty cool. Now, Nintendo isn't really too shy of porting 3DS games to the Nintendo Switch, so I don't see why they wouldn't port Nintendo DS games as well. Even more so since DS games would need a bigger sprucing up, and then I think that would be actually pretty cool, especially since collecting these games are pretty difficult when it comes to just retro gaming in general. It's a lot more expensive, and other things are already more expensive now, so if there's a cheaper option, I would like that. What do you guys think? Do you think Nintendo's going to do anything with Metroid Prime 3 and Metroid Prime Hunters? What form would you like that to take? And also, do you think they're still going to do something with Metroid Prime 2? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care. And while you're down in the comment section, or if you're still watching this video and not correcting me on my probably dumb mistake, I want to say thank you for reaching this video this far, and here's a cookie. For those who don't know, YouTube considers cookies potentially inappropriate for some reason, so let's spam those cookies in the comment section. I want to see pages among pages. Just go wild with cookies in the comment section. And if not, on your way out, make sure you subscribe for more videos and also have that notification bell on. And if you want to support the channel in any other way, there is my Patreon and Twitter account in the pinned comment if you're interested in those. Oh, and also have this donut if you're still sticking around for me rambling. Thanks for watching, guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.